You are not suffering from a lack of willpower. You are experiencing a structural, mechanical failure of your biological hardware. When the system is flooded with stress hormones, no amount of positive thinking can physically reset your pulse.
Modern society insists on telling you that anxiety is a purely psychological issue, a mere mindset problem that can be easily fixed with meditation apps, positive affirmations, or a new productivity spreadsheet. This is a fundamental, scientifically illiterate misunderstanding of human anatomy.
You cannot outthink a survival response. When your autonomic nervous system detects a threat, it completely bypasses your logical prefrontal cortex, routing all electrical data directly into your survival architecture. The primitive brainstem does not negotiate with logic.
Trying to mentally force yourself to calm down when your body is locked in fight or flight is like trying to turn off a blaring industrial fire alarm by simply asking it to stop. Your cognitive loops have been effectively locked out of the operational dashboard. The system simply does not care about your internal dialogue.
To escape this chronic, exhausting loop of nervous system burnout, you must completely abandon the top-down conversational models. Stop treating your mind and start forcefully hacking your biology. The secret to this biological hack lies in the 10th cranial nerve, universally known in clinical neurology as the vagus nerve. It is the longest, most intricate nerve pathway in your entire body. The vagus nerve acts as the literal biological superhighway of your parasympathetic nervous system. It serves as the physical master brake pedal, designed to manually decelerate your heart rate and terminate the fight-or-flight alarm system. Here is the exact data point that standard talk therapy entirely ignores. 80% of the nerve fibers in the vagus network are afferent pathways. That means 80% of the data travels from the body up to the brain, while only 20% flows from the brain down. This means your brain is constantly scanning your physical organs to determine if you are safe. If your breathing is shallow, your chest is tight, and your visceral organs are constricted, your brain assumes you are facing an active predator, completely overriding whatever positive thoughts you try to generate. You cannot successfully send a weak 20% top-down signal to override a massive 80% bottom-up biological alarm. If you want the brain to turn off anxiety, you must speak the absolute physical language of the body. The evolutionary tragedy is that your autonomic nervous system evolved perfectly for the hazards of the Paleolithic era. But it is catastrophically glitching inside our modern, hyper-stimulated digital environment. Your ancient biology cannot distinguish between a lethal apex predator and a passive-aggressive email from your corporate manager. The cascade of adrenaline, cortisol, and inflammatory markers is chemically identical. Through non-stop exposure to microstressors, infinite digital feeds, and sleep fragmentation, your vagus nerve has lost its regulatory flexibility. You are no longer experiencing normal stress. Your baseline has permanently shifted into an allostatic load of chronic, low-grade survival. This explains exactly why you feel utterly exhausted, yet completely unable to sleep. It explains why you cannot maintain deep focus on complex tasks. Your biological hardware is artificially locked in an active on state, relentlessly burning through your finite cognitive reserves. To restore your mental bandwidth and safeguard your long-term health, you must forcefully interrupt this cycle. You must master the physical mechanics required to manually activate your parasympathetic system on demand. This is your precise somatic blueprint. These are 3 concrete, evidence-based biological levers you can pull to forcefully override a dysregulated nervous system in under 2 minutes.
Lever number 1, the physiological sigh. Discovered by behavioral physiologists, this is the absolute fastest, hardwired respiratory mechanism to lower your autonomic arousal.
Take 2 sharp, consecutive inhalations through the nose to fully reinflate the collapsed air sacs in your lungs, followed by 1 long, highly extended exhalation through your mouth. This extended exhale triggers your baroreceptors, physically slowing your heart rate and forcing the brain to register immediate safety. Lever number 2, bilateral stimulation. By deliberately engaging in rhythmic, alternating physical movements, such as cross-body tapping or targeted horizontal eye movements, you force your brain hemispheres into synchronization.
This bilateral crossing of your neurological midline physically downregulates the overactivated threat detection center. It rapidly pulls your awareness out of the emotional panic loop and places it firmly back into the analytical prefrontal cortex.
Lever number 3, acute thermal shock. Introducing sudden, deliberate cold water exposure directly to your face, forehead, or lateral neck profile instantly stimulates the trigeminal nerve pathway. This triggers the mammalian dive reflex, forcing an instantaneous drop in your heart rate and diverting oxygenated blood from your extremities directly back to your vital core. It is a brutal, unyielding biological reset button that severs the anxiety feedback loop. By systematically utilizing these 3 somatic levers, you shift your entire biology from a passive, reactive state of survival to a deliberate state of execution. You have successfully overridden the hardware glitch. Once your vagal tone is clinically regulated, cognitive friction entirely vanishes. Focus is no longer a desperate mental struggle. It becomes the natural, effortless byproduct of a balanced neurological baseline. But managing your physical nervous system is only half of the battle. You have successfully secured the biological hardware, but your cognitive software is still under constant predatory attack. Our modern digital economy is explicitly engineered to hijack your neurochemistry. It is aggressively strip mining your daily motivation by artificially spiking and depleting your internal chemical receptors. You have successfully learned how to calm the machine. But if you want to rebuild your absolute drive, focus, and clarity, you must confront the baseline itself. Click here to discover the brutal mathematical truth about your dopamine receptors and learn exactly how to execute a complete clinical detox.